As tension between Israel and the Middle East increases, the FBI has just arrested Ahmad Tawhedi, a 27-year-old Afghan man who was allegedly planning a mass suicide attack here in the United States of America on Election Day. According to the New York Times, Tawhedi was in contact with the Islamic State and vowed to follow whatever orders he was given. Investigators found video on his phone of Islamic propaganda, including a video of Tawhedi reading off a list of rewards he would receive from Allah if he died as a martyr. These rewards included a crown of jewels, marriage to 72 virgin women, and a place secured for him in heaven. If this attack wasn't stopped, more people likely would have helped Tawhedi, as he already roped in his minor nephew to assist him. So this was a massive attack effort that was supposed to happen on Election Day, and that has now been stopped as of right now. Now, for those wondering, the suspected arrived in the United States in 2021 on a special visa granted from Biden and DHS Alejandro Mayorkas. So he came legally, but they knew he was from Afghan and that he could be an issue. He then made his way to Oklahoma City, where he was ultimately arrested by the FBI for the terrorist attack. Now, this is one reason why it's so important to get this illegal immigration down at the border, because we do not know who is coming into the country. And they knew that this guy was coming, yet they still allowed him. So imagine all of the people whom we don't know anything about that are coming in. Hello, everybody. I see you guys from Georgia, Philadelphia, Las Vegas. I'm in Las Vegas right now. Georgia, all over the country. Thanks for letting me know where you're listening from. All right, now this is crazy. This Tawhedi, guess what? When he lived in Afghanistan, it's now come out that he's a former CIA informant asset. So why was a guy that worked for the CIA arrested in America by the FBI plotting a terrorist attack in the United States to disrupt the US presidential election? I don't have an answer for you, but I find it very suspicious. Hurricane Milton has been dubbed a once-in-a-century storm. It was then downgraded to a Category 3, and now it looks like it's done significantly less damage than was originally expected. Now, there were lots of tornadoes. There was the hurricane. Cars were flipped over, street signs ripped out. There was lots and lots of damage, but it was significantly less than what was told to us on the mainstream media. Now, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis seemed to agree with what I am saying. He said, the storm did bring much destruction and damage. We will better understand the extent of the damage as the day progresses. The storm was significant, but thankfully, it was not the worst case scenario. Now, Governor Ron DeSantis said this morning that he expected to wake up and discover that Tampa was drowned, completely underwater, seawater. And he said he is grateful to God that that did not happen and that this storm was much less than originally estimated. It does kind of make you wonder, was the mainstream media overhyping this? I mean, they had meteorologists crying on TV. This is the worst thing that's ever happened. Why are these Republicans not leaving? All kinds of what kind of seemed like propaganda, to be honest. I'm not saying the storm wasn't real, but I'm just asking the question based on the amount of damage and how much we were told this thing was going to destroy Florida. It kind of just didn't get there. So I'm grateful. Don't get me wrong. I'm very, very grateful. Now, before the storm hit landfall, former President Donald Trump invited 275 electrical linemen to stay for free at his Miami resort. His son, Eric Trump, told the linemen, "You are amazing, and the Trump family and the entire state of Florida appreciates you. Enjoy the rooms. You are the best in Florida. Be safe. So the Trump family put their money where their mouth was. They brought in hundreds and hundreds of electrical linemen, and they're letting them stay there so that they can get Florida back up and running as quickly as possible. You know, it also begs the question, why isn't Biden using the U.S. military to help rebuild North Carolina? Like, we have tens of thousands of reserves and even active men and women in the military that are sitting on bases planning for a war that hasn't come to America yet. Why aren't they being deployed here locally? It seems like we only deploy to the Middle East or to Europe. It seems we only deploy money to Europe and the Middle East. Why aren't they doing more to help Americans? I don't know. Just really kind of bugs me, I guess. Now, if you've been on Twitter recently, then you'd know there's a large group of people that believe the storm was created by the federal government. One of the most notable people pushing this idea that this was a man-made hurricane that got stuck over North Carolina is Georgia House Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene. After Marjorie Taylor Greene claimed the government does possess the technology to control weather, President Biden went on record stating, over the last few weeks, there's been a reckless, irresponsible, and relentless promotion of disinformation and outright lies that are disturbing people. Now the claims are getting even more bizarre. Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, a congresswoman from Georgia, is now saying the federal government is literally controlling the weather. It's beyond ridiculous. It's got to stop. Moments like this, there are no red or blue states. But not all Republicans are aligned on this issue. If anything, I'd say that Marjorie Taylor Greene is in the minority. For instance, Representative Chuck Edwards responded to the ongoing debate on Twitter, stating, Hurricane Helene was not geoengineered by the federal government to seize and access lithium deposits in Chimney Rock, North Carolina. Nobody can control the weather. Now, whether this is BlackRock and the federal government trying to block votes or pick up a lithium mine, either way, we do know that the government can control the weather, at least to some extent. That's been proven. There's been many people this week that have come out and shared examples of how they did that with electrostatic charging, cloud seeding, which we saw over Abu Dhabi and different parts of the Middle East. They can also do it by putting dry ice up into the atmosphere. So we know that that is real. Whether they did that with Helene, I don't know, right? But either way, I think it's interesting that the government would try to block this information. Just be more honest and open with the American people. Now, I have seen a lot of compelling evidence that yes, the government can manipulate weather, but can they create a superstorm or a Cat 3 hurricane? That I don't know. I'd have to do more research. But anyway, that's a big trending story that I wanted to share some information on. Now, even FEMA, the emergency assistance organization, who was reported to be fresh out of money, according to Alejandro Mayorkas, is also trying to combat this alleged misinformation. Well, here's a crazy thought. Maybe stop lying to the American people. That way, when you tell us stuff, we actually believe you. Time and time again, these elected officials lie, and it breaks the trust of the American people. For example, Alejandro Mayorkas told the American people that they were out of money, that they didn't have the ability to help the American people, that they didn't have the ability financially to get through the hurricane season. Then it was released, or leaked rather, that they have over $7 billion sitting in a slush fund, but they want to use it for illegal immigrants. They don't want to use it for American citizens. So again, they wonder why we think that they are lying. All right, now I have a couple of big stories, at least to me, they seem really, really big. But first, 50 seconds from our sponsor. The Federal Reserve has dropped interest rates, so you need to call my friends at American Financing today. With mortgage rates in the 4s, now is the perfect time to consolidate your debt and reduce your monthly expenses. A lot of us have been forced to use credit cards because of the ridiculous price increases at the grocery store, our electric bills, our power bills, and even childcare. That debt is really expensive, with credit card rates being insanely high. But with mortgage rates dropping, now is the time to wipe out that debt. American Financing is helping homeowners just like you save on average over $800 a month. And if you close soon, in the next 10 days, you might be able to delay up to 2 mortgage payments. You could use that towards paying off your debt. Now, there are no upfront fees, and you can save a lot of money. I want you to call American Financing today, and you can do that by calling 888-686-8030. Again, that's 888-686-8030. I'm also going to leave a link down below to their direct website. All right, now listen to this. After President Donald Trump denied doing an interview with 60 Minutes, he got a lot of pushback. They said he was afraid, that he wasn't doing his duty with this traditional interview. And 60 Minutes did the interview with Kamala Harris and then went ahead and aired that. But again, they decided to take shots at President Donald Trump. However, Kamala Harris has received a lot of criticism for her performance. I mean, it was heavily edited, and it was full of like misinformation. It was full of word salad, like strings of sentences that did not make any sense. And the Trump campaign said on Sunday, 60 Minutes teased Kamala Harris's highly anticipated sit-down interview with one of the worst word salads to date, which received significant criticism on social media. During the full interview on Monday, the word salad was deceptively edited to lessen Kamala's idiotic response. So here's the big story, right? Just like ABC News rigged the presidential debate by giving Kamala Harris the questions in advance, CBS News and 60 Minutes is trying to help Kamala Harris out. Now, they asked her a question about the United States helping and defending Israel. Her answer was so discombobulated, so erratic, so unintelligible that they actually asked the question, edited that out, and then added in a different answer in order to make it look like one free-flowing question and answer, but to not make her look stupid or embarrass the presidential candidate. Now, the truth came out. They got busted. These guys, this is journalistic integrity at its worst. Let the candidate sink or swim. If Trump makes a fool of himself, that's on Trump. But if Kamala makes a fool of herself, CBS News and ABC and CNN, they all go into overdrive in order to protect and make things look better than they really are. So many people are mad at ABC News and also CBS because they lowered their integrity in order to help get Kamala Harris elected. But it was so incoherent. Now, here's what Donald Trump tweeted just this morning. And it's no wonder he didn't want to do the interview where last time they tried to humiliate him. Trump said this: a giant fake news scam by CBS and 60 Minutes. Her real answer was crazy or dumb, so they actually replaced it with another answer in order to save her or at least make her look better. A fake news scam, which is totally illegal. Take away the CBS license. Election interference. She is a moron, and the fake news media wants to hide that fact. An unprecedented scandal. The Dems got them to do this and should be forced to concede the election. Wow. All right, now let me know over in the comments, since this is a real live broadcast. Are you disappointed that CBS News and CNN deceptively edited Kamala Harris's answers in order to make her look smarter? Type Y for yes and N for no. Also, do you think the federal government has the technology or the science to manipulate the weather? I'm not saying create a Category 5 superstorm or anything. Just, can they manipulate the weather? Type Y for yes and N for no. All right, let me keep going while your answers come in. By the way, thank you guys so much for being here with me. My wife and I are on business out of town. So thank you for supporting the channel while I travel. Whoa, lots of whys, lots of yeses. Okay, yeah. I mean, just stop lying to us, and you would not lose our trust. Like, it's that simple. It takes years to build trust and only seconds to destroy trust. All right, now RFK Jr., whose mother passed away today, said the dark side of the federal government is real and that we need to change that. And all of America needs to be aware of the fact that the US government is full of bad actors and liars, and that the intelligence agencies have been captured. This is what he had to say. The capacity for critical thinking has been so overwhelmed and subverted in my generation that they didn't see the possibility of an unprecedented level of control. They went along with COVID, which looked like in many ways a PSYOP program with orchestrated fear to disable the capacity for critical thought. Now the same mechanisms are being used for them to support Kamala Harris. So I think this is really, really big. So he's saying, listen, I want you to be honest with yourself. Were you deceived during COVID? Were you deceived about the lockdowns? Were you deceived about the stand 6 feet apart? Were you deceived about the efficacy of the vaccine, masks, Dr. Fauci, staying away from family, not going to work? All of it was deception. So he says, now keep all of that in mind. You've been deceived. You've been a trusting citizen of the United States of America. But the reality is you've been lied to and deceived from Vietnam all the way up through the Bush era, the weapons of mass destruction, and now the COVID. He's saying, now apply that logical thinking over to Kamala Harris, who was the least popular vice president in 100 years. It was said that she was dragging Biden's ticket down. She's done absolutely nothing. Everything she has done has been connected to the worst policies of the Biden administration. And Bobby Kennedy is saying now she is this polished candidate who is allegedly better than Barack Obama. Are we in fact being deceived? And his answer is yes. Kamala Harris is deceiving us. The deep state, the mainstream media, those that really, the elites that run the country and lie to us over and over again, they are pulling the wool over your eyes. Now, I read this morning that they are estimating 32 million Christian Americans do not plan to vote this election cycle. Please, whether you're Christian or atheist, get out and vote. You have to vote. Donald Trump is not a perfect candidate, but we need good leadership to avoid World War III. We need good leadership to end the illegal immigration invasion. We need good leadership to make life more affordable, to make it safe, to get the poison out of our food. Bobby Kennedy, 1,000 chemicals are on our food that are illegal in Europe. They are poisoning us. They are poisoning our children. This is why we are fat and exhausted as Americans. It's because we are being lied to. So get your Christian family to go out and vote. Get your Christian friends to go out and vote. Get your atheist friends to go out and vote. Your Jewish friends to go out and vote. Whatever your religious background, God bless you. If you're an atheist, God bless you. But we have got to get Biden and Kamala Harris and their horrible policies out of the White House. All right, sorry for that rant. Okay, here's my last story. This is really big. The Georgia Election Board today has just voted to subpoena all of the records of the 2020 presidential election. Now, Georgia's Attorney General, who is supposed to investigate crimes, is trying to bury this under the direction of Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger. However, the board said, after all we've seen in our investigations, the fraud, the lack of chain of command, the 500,000 missing ballots or ballots that possibly never existed, the cover up, the ballot imaging, the access to the machines, the votes that were counted after the election was over. All of this leads them to believe the truth is there was fraud in the Georgia election and that it was not a free and fair election. Now, I'll continue to monitor this story, but I got to be honest. I think we're going to see that there was massive amounts of fraud down in Georgia. The devil went down to Georgia and it voted for Joe Biden, right? That's a funny song. All right, now, I love you guys. Please give this video a like. It helps me more than you can even imagine. It tells YouTube and Rumble to share this content. Also, please share. These are big news updates today. I love you. Hit that subscribe button, and I will see you on the next video.